I don't understand why, but in a meltdown, he always ends up on my head, like a cat. Someone has to pry him off me. Hey guys, what's up? In this video, I want to talk about tantrums versus meltdowns. That being because my son has always had horrible meltdowns since like 9 months old. Uh, and the other day, I can't say it was the worst one, but it was the most heart-wrenching for me. And he's always had problems with transitions. um, he was taking a bath because he loves the water, and I told him that when the water drains, that he'll be getting out. So of course, I pulled the plug. Um, he started trying to plug it with his toe and with his hand, and freaking out. And then it just escalated from there. And he almost got hurt in the bathtub. The water wasn't fully drained when he started. He started hitting. Well, I took him out and went to the living room. And then he got out of my grasp and ended up back in the bathtub. Then he curled up in a ball, freaking out like he was mourning the water gone. Which was sad because it sucks seeing your kid like that. And I took him out and we went back to the living room. And then he started hitting, kicking, freaking out. So I had to like put some pressure on him and tightly hug him, which doesn't usually work, but to my surprise, it kind of worked this time. Uh, and he's and it was before I could even put his pull up on. I'm glad I didn't get peed on. Uh, but then he calmed down a little bit, so I was able to pull his pull up on. I was able to get him dressed, and then it didn't completely stop though. And then he found out his hands were pruny, and he started looking at me all confused and freaking out because they looked different, and they probably felt different. His hands had never been pruny before, but I had a hard time getting him out of the bathtub. Um, so I had to hold his hand tightly to calm him down and work him through that. So I'm guessing in some areas he likes pressure, but his meltdown went like from thing to thing. It went for a while, and like everything irritated him. You couldn't calm him down. Um, and his meltdowns take a toll on me to where I just want to take a nap. His tantrums don't. So, a tantrum basically is that if you take something away from the kid, or you make them do something they don't want to, or you tell them no, every kid hates no, right? They act out. But when you take something away or give something for a reward, or just ignore it completely, it will go away. A meltdown, however, does not go away, and it's from sensory overload. Um, so from an autistic's perspective, it feels like your body's on fire. Mine starts getting on fire. I start shaking. I start crying. My ears are freaking on fire and hurt because I'm very sensitive to loud noises. Um, so that's basically what one feels like from my experience. I mean, it could feel different to them, but basically it's sensory overload, and they can't control their actions. And when they're 3, 4, or 5 years old, they don't know how to regulate as well. Maybe a little older than that, because I think I was normal by the time I was like 18, maybe 16. But that's when I started getting control of it. It was probably about 16. Yeah, that about sounds right. Even though still had some issues, before I became an adult, I mostly had control over it. But when they're younger, they don't have that. So it's best to get them help early if you can get a diagnosis. I hope this made sense because it's kind of hard to explain, but if it's a meltdown, you'll know because nothing you do can comfort them. They get pretty aggressive. I've noticed his meltdowns usually are aggressive and tantrums aren't. I mean, if he's tantrum, you'll go throw. But if it's a meltdown, it's a full on thing, let me tell you. And I don't understand why, but in a meltdown, he always ends up on my head like a cat. Someone has to pry him off me. I'm telling you, it's a thing. And a lot of them happen during transitions, and I can control his meltdowns. Not his meltdowns. I can control his tantrums, but I can't control his meltdowns. And he's getting strong as the older I get. I'm getting weaker because I'm disabled in a lot of my body. But his autism in certain aspects is different than mine. And trying to find what works for him has been hard and kind of a struggle because he can't verbalize about what he needs or communicate with me hardly at all. And the things that work for me may not work for him. I hope this made sense because it's very hard to describe what I feel and how a child with autism could feel during a meltdown and why they are doing it. Is just one of those things. And I hope this made sense. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys. Yo.